jobs versus careers.
Jobs
Yeah.
versus career.
Yeah, because I was saying that like your mindset should like I see people at work that look like they don't have a mindset to want to be there. So Riz was saying to that like you definitely have a different drive when it comes to career and work.
Yeah, that's
There's
a fact.
definitely
Like-
different lanes. So
As you saying, right, in the sense of, say you go to work with people, right? You see this all the time. You'll make friends with people who are completely out of your age group or completely different than you, because their mindset for that job is that this is their last destination. They need this to
that's a fact.
continue funding their family, to continue living.
Right.
Our mindset, because we still have time, should be that this is a re-up. This is a stepping stone. After you get paid and pay your bills, the money you make should be used to make more money to further your life. You know what I'm saying?
No question about
And
it.
that's why it's mindset against mindset. Like, it's really based on the end goals. Because your end goal would be completely different and their end goal is completely different, but you're doing the exact same job. And because of that, that's the connection you guys have as a friendship.
Yeah.
That simple thing, because you guys work there. But the whole reasoning is completely different. So that's like mindset versus reasoning is crazy when you think about it, bro. Like,
I guess it's what you value too. Like there's people that
that's
go
true.
and work, that love to work, man. Like I think I value time more than I value money.
facts.
You know what I mean? I want time where I can, do what I want, be where I want. When I have kids one day, I want to be able to spend all my time with them instead of having them go to a babysitter while I have to work. You know what I mean? So
Exactly.
I chase the career to have more time in the end. You know what I mean? Where people are like, people live to work, and like, where does the time go?
Where
You know
does
what I
time
mean?
go? Yeah.
What about the aspect of, cause think of LeBron or NBA players in this aspect, right? They have wives and support systems, because they don't think of them as wives. They think of them as their support system, because that's what they are. They allow them to do what they love to do, but they don't have the time to actually be a family man, a dad, all of that, but they still allow them to do what they have to do while they take care of everything else, right? So as someone who values time over money, right?
Right.
Do you think basketball players or athletes are selfish in a sense when it comes to valuing
I think you
their
have to be.
happiness over time?
I think you have to be. If you're
Okay, so now
if you're a
elaborate
single
on
person, if you're a single individual, not
Yeah.
like if you can be in a relationship and be a single individual, but if you're a single individual with a goal and a career, it's gonna require your time and your attention, emotional investment, because you're not gonna get what you put in right away.
How do you choose what gets your time? Like, what do you think actually boils
Whatever
down to
fulfills
that?
you, man. Whatever fulfills you. If it brings
I'm
you,
just trying to learn.
if it brings you peace, if it brings you peace and happiness, man, that's what you do. You know, if you wake up, if you watch movies simple like Sister Act 2, if you wake up and you're a singer and you go to sleep and you feel like you're a singer, then that's what you do.
Facts.
That's what brings you joy and peace in your life. You chase that.
Gives you purpose in a
Right?
sense.
I work a job where I get to teach kids like music, and sometimes I get to leak the hip hop in there, and they don't, these kids don't really get hip hop like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to leak it in there, like as their kids, it's not a job really.
Yeah,
it's
I see what
just
you're
giving
saying.
back. That's what brings me joy, to be able to express to them what gives me joy. So
Yeah, I like that though, cause I've come to that realization recently too. Like, I don't know. Life feels a little simpler for me because I realize I just do what I like to do. I'm not gonna fight anybody. I'm just gonna do what I like to do. If I say no, I generally just don't want to do it, or I'm not interested. If you want to be upset, that's fine. I still know it keeps me peace. It gives me happiness. I wake up. I'm grateful to have my siblings with me still. Still got my mom's. Like I'm just happy to still have more than what I think. Sometimes you think you don't have much.
right.
And that's where that ungratefulness comes from. Then you realize, like I still got so much. People still check up on me. Still, people still want me to do music. They be like, yo, you still doing this? I was trying to see if you. It kind of makes you wanna like think, what am I doing?
Right.
And then you don't want to let people down who care about you, bro. Who actually be like saying, yo, I want to see your career goals. Like for me, I can't let that go to waste. So I love having people who just like want to see me win. And I don't want to let them down, so it makes me want to do what I do even more. It makes me love it even more, because they love that I love what I'm doing. Right. You know what I'm saying? And it's a good feeling, man. It really is. So
See, the thing with me, man, again, like going back to job versus career,
Yeah.
you know, in those type of environments you're speaking of, you see those people that are lifers and they've dedicated their whole
life,
existence.
bro.
Yeah, like they've been there 40, 30 years
Yeah,
type
to
shit.
me,
It's like,
that's a scary
how?
place to be because
the warehouse work, bro, it's
Yeah.
a trap.
It is a trap.
I'm gonna explain
It's
it
a
because,
trap.
bro, I worked at Pure Later, bro. Everyone there, they had this like happiness, but it seemed a little false. Like,
you know what it is? It's complacency.
They're scared from work.
let me show you though. Let me show you though. When these guys come to work, it's good morning. But there's some days I didn't feel good being there. It's midnight. I'm coming to work. Ain't nothing good about this. I'm not mad, but that's how
that's
it
real.
generally felt.
That shit is
So
real,
like we
man.
go in there, we're working. People are like, you don't want to stay and work here. You get raised fast. You can buy house fast. You can buy house fast. The little things they tell you to make you stay.
Yeah.
And these are not
Dedicate your
managed.
life
These are
to
just
this
yeah.
shit.
These are just coworkers. Like, look, I have this car. I have this.
These niggas don't even got a union.
I only met one guy who worked at the
They don't
warehouse.
even got a union. Like, no warehouse
Even if you
has
have a union, I don't feel like
it
unions
doesn't
actually
work,
protect
bro.
you.
It doesn't. Nothing
But-
protects
Bro,
you.
unions just take their union dues and don't really serve you much
Exactly.
purpose, to be honest with you.
From my experience, I haven't felt union protection. But to what I was saying was like, I only met one guy who was there, who had multiple homes, who put his money where he wanted to put it, so it came back, and like
He made a career out of it.
he
didn't
made he made a little career out of it, and he comes in
Exactly.
as he likes to
as you're
work,
saying.
but he still knows that he don't want to work forever.
Yes.
So he's like, all right, let me try to what's it called, flip this. So he does that, but he's the only guy who sits by himself, eats, because clearly no one thinks how he
He has
does.
a different mentality
Exactly,
altogether.
and I was curious. He's a black guy too. I was curious, man. Why is he always over there by himself? And I'm talking to everyone who, because when you have kids, bro, it's tough when you're at a warehouse because the money comes in. You know, you got that guaranteed hours, and you know they can kind of go up and make a little extra change, maybe 20, 25 bucks an hour. Boom, you can take care of the youth then. But like, it's tough. Like seeing how COVID hit and everything's going up and nothing's coming down. No one's cutting prices. Bro, I can't think that I have to stay at this job. Like, jobs are not gonna last you. It's almost like they don't want people to work no more. They want to give it to robots, right? And then
That's what's gonna
Okay.
happen
You know what
soon.
it is, because
That's what's
robots
gonna
not
happen.
going to complain.
Exactly.
Robots,
All they
in
do is
theory-
try and still do
in
things
theory,
over.
Robots don't get off days and
So
things
when
of
did
that
you
nature.
realize that you were finally done with that? Like you wanted to move on from that specific stage of your
I think
life?
it was when
to
I realized
elevate?
people were just too happy where I wasn't happy.
You saw the falseness, right?
Yeah, it's
you
like-
felt it. Like
maybe
you
it
didn't even
wasn't
see it, you
false. Maybe
felt
they
it.
genuinely did feel that way. But when I
yeah.
came into work, I was not enjoying this.
Like, this is not it.
So this can't be my end game. Like, God didn't put me here to be cheese every day. That doesn't make sense to me.
Now, what do you think the difference was that actually made you walk away, but they couldn't walk away from that? Is it age?
Ooh.
Is it mindset? Is it like, what is it? What do you think,
you know what made me
what
walk
do you think it
away?
boils down to, Fred?
I was getting fired still. I'm not gonna lie to you. When I got fired.
No, they cooked you, eh?
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to walk away when you get cut. So,
It's like, get out.
but because the way you asked me the question was really deep, I try to make it. I got cut
Shit.
still, and truly it was lame
Probably the best
because,
thing that happened to you, though.
But
and
you know,
that's
it's
why I'm not
probably
mad at
because
situations, bro.
People, no, I ain't gonna hold you. People can see what your investment or involvement in something
Facts.
is, and so it's like they'd rather someone who's gonna dedicate their life.
Yeah,
to
that's
this
true,
shit.
dog.
You know, you're not so invested to the point like this is your only option. You know, so that's the thing.
fascinating.
Like when you see other lanes and other endeavors, I feel you need to seize them, especially if it's creative endeavors. Because to be honest, that's what adds the seasoning to life, so to speak. You know, like
Also, there's more followers than leaders in the world.
yeah, of course.
So more people will stay in what they feel is more comfortable because what they see more people are comfortable in. They're gonna think, okay, they're
this might
comfortable.
be bad.
It's gonna be comfortable for me
That's
too.
what I'm
We were
saying.
talking about that earlier today with
Mm-hmm.
regard to how a lot of times that's the mentality here. Like
Mm-hmm.
there's a very large demographic that only follows after something once they see the majority already doing it.
That's
you know?
facts. That's how basically the new
That's how
society
everything
is.
is. So that's how everything
Like
works.
there's
That's
okay,
how trends start, right?
Can you give me an example of
That's a
that
fact.
in today's society of just like trends that or like just people following a specific
even
movement
clothing,
or thing?
even clothing, right?
Fashion.
Fashion is
Thank
the
you.
biggest thing.
Okay, I
Let's
think the
talk
biggest
about
one,
it.
we'll talk about Champs. Because
Yes.
Champs died out and it came back. And it's like, how? Why?
Bro, Champs, New Balance, we could talk about
Champs
too.
was cheap,
like,
you know, back in the day.
Asics even, bro. Like,
fact.
these were things that were looked
The
at as
dad
dad
shoes.
shoes.
That's
Thank
a
you. I'm
fact.
not even tweaking. I'm a young nigga. I'm a young man, and I know this. So you know what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact.
But trends always come and go.
come and
right?
go, yeah.
The style
That-
now is really
right.
old school fashion is the style now, and it's like back
Bro,
then
you
it
know
was
why?
hated on.
Everything comes back around. Like you see, in all honesty, if you look at these shows or these entertainers or these various platforms on the internet that claim, oh yeah, this is what you need for this season and things of that nature. It's like, truthfully, a year, 2 years from now, the shit that was not cool this year is going to be right back around. So it's like, you can't follow the trends or else you'll just be in a
You'll die with
perpetual
them.
state of like
Yeah.
consumership.
You'll be
to be
late,
honest
bro.
with you.
Yeah.
And there's no evolution.
not
There's
only
no
that,
evolution if you don't step outside.
I
of
always
those
say
trends.
this, and he can attest to this. I always say it's either you'll be a producer or a consumer.
Facts.
feel
We
me?
talked about this.
So it's like, which one would you rather be? Would you always be putting your money towards something to get the newest trends, the newest sneakers, the newest clothes, the newest whatever the case is, you know? Or would you rather do something that others are going to be invested in to the extent that they would do that, you know?
It's hard, man. It's not.
It is hard, 'cause
It's not an easy.
It's not an
thing.
easy thing, especially when
to
you've
do.
been in that habit.
Especially as a man who makes music, my guy. Like, I'm not gonna lie. When I started making music, I thought I was gonna pop in the first week.
Right away. Like
And then,
this.
and then when
Right away.
when Mans told me to go back to the drawing board, I was like, holy. I was like, but it didn't stop me from doing it. So back to what Rich says, like, a man could have had that same situation and said, I'm off this. I've been done with it. So that's why I say mindset kind of helps, because like my mindset, I'm overly competitive, where I think it sometimes gets in the way, where people aren't even competing with me and I'm competing with them, and it's like it creates tension, because it's like, why are you doing this extra stuff?
Yeah, that's real.
But like, I'm always coming from Toronto, bro. It's like people, like, even if you're playing basketball for fun, bro, might as well just hold that over your head because they won the local 21 games. So now you're like, all right, watch the next game. So when people tell me, when I feel like I lose or I didn't do good enough, it fuels me to come back and show you, all right, I'm gonna show you all gone. Like that's my mindset when it comes to being told I'll either hit the drawing board again or like, yo, see what you do the next time. Like I try to take it more positive instead of, this guy didn't want to see me win, or man, this guy's just hating on me. It's like,
And truthfully, sometimes they don't, man, because I feel like a lot of people project what they can't do onto you, right?
Facts.
So a lot of people will tell you, yeah, like I remember getting into music, people would be like, bro, like there's no way you're gonna do it living in Alberta or living in Toronto.
Trust me.
Now Toronto is like number one hub for hip hop music in the world.
Facts.
But that changes all the time.
Yeah.
But even growing up with dudes who made music and quit music because there's no money in it.
Yep.
There's no money in it.
There is,
There is money in it if you know
They just
how
didn't
to.
know
If you
how.
know how
You know
to-
what I mean? But it's like
But
there's no instant gratification.
Yeah, that's
And
what
I
it
You
is.
have to
That's
work
true.
for it, bro. You have to work
you need
for
to
it.
do something for the love before you can get paid for it. If it's a creative
what it
endeavor.
is?
But that doesn't take.
You know
it
what
just
it
doesn't
is?
happen like every 2 weeks. You don't see.
Yeah.
You don't see the
it's not
late nights that you
consistent.
put in.
Yeah.
The late nights where you
Facts.
lose sleep,
Facts.
or your
Trust
relationships
me.
go sideways because
A
you're so
lie.
focused on this.
You
know
lose
what it
time
is,
You know what I
talking
mean?
to
You
family.
don't get a paycheck every 2 weeks for that.
Trust me.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
You know what it is though? It makes you
It
more
is.
entrepreneurial minded because you got to get creative with how you approach it. Because it's like if you're going to a job on a daily, there's no creativity there.
Nah, you know what your
clock in
structure
at the
is.
same time, clock
Do
out
the
at the
same
same
work.
time, same role. It's very repetitive. You know, you're
It's
like
like you're being
you're
a
like a
marionette,
cog
bro.
on the wheel. You feel me? It's
Yeah.
like it's very, very easy to get lost in the sauce, so to speak. You know, but in all honesty, it's like if you're doing more creative endeavors, it forces you to think outside the box in terms of, how do I make a living doing this? How do I sustain myself? And
I
how
can
do I
attest
not?
to that, because since I started making beats, now it's like I just want to make stuff before I think of how to like buy things, in a sense. Like I'm trying to make an example. Freaking like streaming. I see a lot of people streaming. I thought it was cool. I'm like, how would I get into that? You know, and I looked and I just bought all the gear and I just got into it, and I still do it. And I'm just all into it. I don't stop. I'm focused, and it's nice, bro. It makes me think differently, because you have to watch people what they stream, and like it's so you don't do it. Like you watch people to see what they do, so you don't do it, type of thing.
Interesting.
And
Okay.
it just keeps me like thinking, okay, maybe when I stream, I'll do this, or when it's like you watch and learn. So when you're doing music now and you're watching people and you're studying them, you don't copy them. You try to think of a new formula. What you're saying earlier, you don't copy the blueprint. You try to make a new print off of the blue one, right?
Because there's no purpose in emulating something to the T
Nah,
that's
man.
already been done. Because it's like, there's no purpose for you at that point.
Even if it
all you are
takes
is a
off,
carbon
it's
copy.
not gonna go that far.
You know what it
because
is,
it's
bro?
so used to, bro.
I guarantee you, for a lot of people, what it is that, as I said, they're seeing these things work overnight with certain people and certain demographics, right? They're seeing people get viral overnight and get famous overnight and all of that. So they're like, if I do a similar thing or the same thing, this should also happen to me. You know what I'm saying? But they're not realizing like, this shit is hard work or luck. Dead ass. That's either what it is. There's no in between. It's not that you're just gonna start and it's gonna happen.
Because as a consumer, you're not meant to see the hard work. You're not meant to see.
Thank you. You're not
meant to see the building. You're meant to see when it's built.
Steph Curry's a prime example of that too. Like I never knew this guy was gonna shoot like that. Okay, I never watched him.
But the thing is, if you
never seen his work,
if you watched him in Davidson, bro. You knew he was gonna be good. You knew you would have known. He was just injury prone. He was just injury prone. That's all he was always is. Steph Curry just always had weak ankles. He always just had weak ankles. Davidson, he was not the greatest defender, but Curry could always play defense in his career. He's not a great defender though, so that's what people are gonna pick at, what they see and what they don't see and all that shit, right? But they're not realizing like, okay, Curry's not a great defender. John Wall wasn't. Kyrie wasn't. Like, all the great PGs were not great defenders, bro. Look at Magic, the overall greatest PG of all time.
Like, truthfully, people like John Stockton, Isaiah Thomas were great defenders.
For Isaiah Thomas, yes. Oscar Robertson, yes. Like, those guys, yes. But also, you have to look at, like, there's a lot of things that play in it. It's their mindset, right? What they value more. Again, mindset versus this shit. You know what I'm saying? It's based on like that. Like, I know what we're talking about, but sometimes you know what I'm saying? It's all based on your mindset and your end goal towards things. Because if their goal is, as I said, pass first, defensive minded versus a score first who then passes sometimes. You know what I'm saying? People are gonna see the score first and all of that, but you're gonna know that the pass first, defensive minded is a better player. You know what I'm saying? We are consumers, so we based off what we see, right? But real people, they're going to know based off because they've been, like, if you've played the game of basketball, which I'm pretty sure every single one of us here have played the game of basketball, you know for every position, the best basketball player you can have is a pass-first, defensive-minded player. The best
one.
who can be
you gotta
coached,
get stops.
who's
you gotta
coachable.
get stops. The scoring is flashy.
Create plays, get back on defense.
Yeah, because I mean, the scoring is what's gonna get you on TV.
Every basketball team, you will get a position. You will get a position on every winning basketball team. You know what I'm saying?
Defense. There's a reason why they say defense wins championships.
A lot of people, and now I could bring that to reality in the music industry as well. A lot of people, they're not coachable. They don't know how to fit into a system. You know what I'm saying? Or a lot of people try to fit into a system instead of being a system. Or the wrong people try to be a system when they're supposed to fit into a system. You know what I'm saying? It's like,
imagine not following their lane.
Thank you. It's a mindset thing versus end goals, right?
Because people try to bulldoze their way into the game and try to go. I mean, especially rap is a very competitive art form. So people try to go for the top. Everybody wants to be number one.
Yeah.
But it's like, if there's no foundation built, like,
so my question for you now, for those people, right?
Right.
What advice would you give those people, apart from, okay, be yourself, be original, what advice would you give those people when choosing what path they want to choose based on their likes, like the people that they look up to and shit, based on who they want to model themselves after? Because you can still take a part of something, create your own, or create a different style of create your own, and it can still be successful. Yeah. But a lot of the times what we see with new generation, they take something and they just try to continue it. They don't try to like
even the samples.
Come on, like
chopped up like how they
it's like every beat sounds the same.
Like I know the
sounds the same.
I should know your sample.
Choreography is the same. Every performance
I don't feel like
is the same.
I should know your sample off. Sometimes when you hear the sample, you catch it, but like some of the samples are just copy and paste, bro. It's crazy.
That's what I'm saying. So what would you tell those people who are choosing that, like who are gonna make that decision? Like, okay, I wanna make my style based off this, but I also want to put other things into it and take it to a whole nother. You know what I'm saying?
Be true. You just have to be true to.
Because there's yourself. A lot of culture vultures as well. So it's like you have to like. How do you even determine if you're being a culture vulture or if you're actually just trying to like grow yourself as an artist using someone else's, like, you know what I'm saying?
I feel like if you're true to yourself, you're not going to sound like anybody else. That's just off the top. So I mean, you can take elements of what works. Like their principles in art.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can take the things that work and evolve them.
So then
and
you
put
think
yourself
it's insecurity
in them. Of course,
That's what it is
because
then,
art,
right?
because art is just a perspective of a person's life in through a medium, right?
Okay.
That's literally all it is. If I look over here and see that there's some pink lights in there, and I write about it, that's just my perspective on
Facts.
or how I interpret it or understand it
Yeah.
through art, right? So, but that's just me being true. But if you tell me it's pink or it's blue, and I write a song about it being blue, that's not true to me because that's not
Facts.
how I saw it. That's how you
Okay.
saw
So
it.
perspective
Right.
versus ideologies, basically,
Right.
or
I think-
perspective versus reality, basically.
Apart from that, though, I think that truthfully, you need a lot of time in solitude to figure out who you are.
Absolutely.
Because that's the only way you can truly understand yourself is when you're alone with your thoughts.
You face yourself.
You know?
That's facts.
You face
I was
yourself.
gonna say though, like
facts.
everything y'all just said still comes down to hard work, man. Doing all of that, you can't wake up and do that. Looking, as I said earlier, looking at yourself and asking yourself real questions also requires you knowing that you could have done a few dumb things, and that accountability nobody wants to accept.
But this is the thing. Life is all about understanding past experiences, learning a lesson from it, and building on that lesson.
Okay.
You know,
agree
so
with
it's
that.
like I don't even worry about. Sometimes people stress over issues and decisions they made in the past. I don't think people should really do that. You have to be easy on yourself to a certain extent, especially once you have the mentality of comprehending that you are what you make yourself.
Especially if you know who you are, too.
You're just going
That's a
through
fact.
life, man.
Especially
you're
if
not,
you know
you're
who
not
you
Jesus.
are.
You're
There's
going
no
to make
perfect-
mistakes.
there's no
You're gonna make
perfect,
Especially if you know who you
Yeah,
are as a
yeah.
person, you have to give yourself props in a sense. So I understand what you're saying.
You have to give yourself grace, man.
You have to give
Y'all
yourself
been through
grace,
some
and you
stuff.
can't be too hard on yourself in certain things because you know who you are as a person and who people perceive you to be and who you could also be. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
It's
that's a
like
fact.
a lot of things play into it.
You have to take into account the potential you have as well. But potential is only realized when you put the work in, which is why I say solitude is essential because
Yep.
you make the most progress in isolation, at least from my
What
experience.
was about
anyway.
those people that can't be in solitude? Because as Chris says, it comes down to originality, right? It comes down to who you are. But you can't deny there's people out there that cannot talk to themselves. They can't look within
I
themselves.
mean, I feel like
you know what I'm
if you,
saying?
if
I
you-
know people personally
if
like
you're
that.
in
like,
this shit and you want to be successful, if you're in this long enough and you're not being yourself, you're gonna be forced to face yourself. Because like we talking about trends, if you following a trend, the trend dies. So if
trend
you following
does
a
die.
trend and it dies, you die with it. Like you're gone with it.
all based on-
If you can't evolve, right? But evolution comes from growth. And if you're being
Facts.
yourself, you're naturally just gonna
Growing,
grow, and your art is
yeah.
going to grow and mature. And if that's not happening, then you're gonna fall off.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Jeez,
That's what
man
you're
just
saying.
labeled mad rappers just now. That's crazy.
It's
Well,
just
like,
it's just
it's
the
not
truth.
even-
But it's the truth, though.
It's not
It's
even
not
labeled
life
no
in
disrespect.
general.
It's
No,
just
no,
the
that's-
truth.
that's-
You see that across
That's
the
why
board, to be honest
it's
with
the
you.
facts. It's literally like no cap. The world is surrounded by a lot of yes men, fam. We talked about this world. This world is built on a lot of yes men. That's why the world is in certain senses. The world is garbage in certain senses, right? You cannot deny that we didn't profit from this shit. We're alive. We're breeding. We're able to talk on a podcast. You know what I'm saying? So we profited from certain things that morally that wasn't good shit. You know what I'm saying? There's certain things that happened that had to happen for us to get the freedom that we have now and shit, right?
Okay.
But it's so now, when we look back at that shit, right, we're gonna look at it as like, oh, this was morally wrong, right?
Yeah.
But that morally wrong thing had to happen at that exact moment for certain things to be able to happen now. You know what I'm saying?
I see
Like, do you
where
understand
you're
what I'm
coming
saying?
Yeah, the butterfly effect.
It just
too.
depends. It just depends on.
Like, so-
it
that's why I say
depends
certain
in
things,
life. It
certain
depends
things,
in life
certain
when it
things.
happens. Like
That's
if,
why I'm saying
if something
certain
happens when
things.
you're young, you know what I mean. I feel like no human being gets it right the first time.
Think of